Thank you, Joe. Any old business? Okay, good business. What's next on you?
Yes, we have Jeremy Rowling, Ricardo Anguano, Jesselyn Kelly, from Gilbane and Bull respectively, to provide an update on the construction budget, construction project update and the change order reviews.
Thank you.
All right, good evening. We'll pick it up with the Sunnyside MacArthur update, and then Ricardo will talk about Riley and Northlake. Jesselyn will go through her furniture items. So I'm going to start as we traditionally do. Joe, if you have the drone video available, it is a little bit longer this month, so I'll just step out of the way so everybody can see, and then I'll come back and provide a quick update. All right, so you saw in the video, the landscaping is done on the south end of the site. So all the sod is down, and that actually wasn't quite done in this video, but it is done as of last week. So all along St. Charles Road has all been re-landscaping. There's some nice planting groups along St. Charles. All the sod's put down. The field's here, the sod's in, the playground's in, the baseball field is there. One last little detail we have to do is put the bases in on the field. And we've been in a rainy pattern here, so every time we get that scheduled, we get rain and it gets a little sloppy out there. So we're just trying to time that, but that's just a day's worth of work to get those in. So hopefully we can get those in this week. I was just telling Dale the rainy season has been very good for this landscaping. The sod is very well established, and they're actually going to start mowing about 2/3 of that area this week. So they were actually supposed to mow today. They moved all the sprinklers off of it on Saturday, and it's ready. So they'll start mowing this week, and then a couple mowings, and it'll really be ready to utilize that play area. So in the meantime, we're keeping our fence up just to let that really get good and established and hardy before there's a whole lot of activity on it. But all the fencing's in, the parking lot is striped, all the signage is in, and that piece is really done. Jesselyn has notified her team, being the civil engineer and the landscape architect, that area is ready for punch list, and that's the last piece of any items that may come out of that.
And then Jeremy, I think we're still putting in some arborvitae
Yes.
median that's
Yep.
on its way, and then a few more plantings along the west shore.
That's correct, yeah. So we've got about 15 plants in the median kind of by the loading area on the west side of the building. That'll be going in hopefully later this week or early next, and then a few more along the west fence line as well. So. But that really, that's my update here. As far as progress goes, I do have one small change order for you. Any questions on progress or update on this?
So any point items necessary at set aside. Everything.
No, everything within the building and around the first phase is going to be completed. I should take that back. There's one open commissioning item with regards to the mechanical contract that we're working through right now with the Farnsworth Group, the commissioning agent, and mechanical. So we should have that addressed in the next week or two. So, any other questions on progress there? No? Okay. I got one quick little change order for you here. It's District Change Order 191. This deals with PR 68 involving the Sunnyside and MacArthur offices. So coming off the cafeterias, the door leading from the cafeteria into each of the offices has free egress into the office. So students can enter the office at any time. And then you have to card reader or be buzzed out of the office for security purposes. Just living with the building, one of those things that you start to figure out is that during after-hour events, when there's a basketball game or a volleyball game, those office doors still remain unlocked. So there's been a request to change the door hardware on those two doors, one at each office, and Ricardo has a similar change order for Riley Northlake to have those doors so that they can be locked in non-school hours, so that nobody can, when the office is unattended, nobody can enter the office. So it's a change in the door hardware and coordination with the security contractor and timing of the system. So, so the change order there to replace the door hardware on those two doors is $2,987, and that will allow that to have more locked and unlocked hours, I guess.
I will just add that there's like a back door to the teacher workroom that's part of the main office that has a card reader, so staff will still have access. But anyone that doesn't have a badge won't. So.
Any questions on that one?
Okay.
Yeah.
When I go inside the computer my daughter, I saw that it's leaking from the put something, so I don't know what it is. So when I put the package there, there's a package there.
Okay.
So they collect the water. The water it is leaking.
That's the first time hearing of it, but we'll look into it.
Have you reported that to facilities?
So I don't know, it's from the ceiling, they put a package of water.
That was a clogged drain in the air handler. There's air handling right there, the drain got clogged, so the water leaked over on. At normal. So if you could follow up on that and confirm.
Okay. All right, I'll let Ricardo talk about Riley and Northlake.
Any other questions before we move on? You know? Yes.
If they come in, it's like, you know, I try to understand. So when they finish the school, so somebody inspecting them, telling someone how they finish the school. You guys have some work like that?
Yes. Yeah, there's a code inspection process, and there's a,
But the schools, they should, because like, you give us the job, we paid the tax.
Right, yeah.
But when you finish the job, so.
Excuse me, Mrs. Shabbat, for time, you are on for open comment. And I'm giving you my card to call me. We'll talk about all your questions with Northlake and the school, okay?
And we'll bring your concerns back up in.
We'll get you covered. We will.
Okay. Right?
All right, Carl? Thank you, Mrs. Shabbat.
Evening, everybody. Well, do the thing Jeremy did. We'll start off with the video and then I'll go to the update. use description of the video. All right. Okay, well. So. Over the last month, over at Riley and North Lake, biggest thing that we did was we we're finishing out the installation for the new mechanical, ductwork. That is, well, it's all on the North Lake here, so that was our largest endeavor that we needed to overcome this past month. Some of that work, wasn't enough time in the summer, luckily, it's all over the road, didn't impede on students, so all of that, actually, all that work should be just about complete. One more day of just final detailing, and we should be good to go there. So along with that, we had all of our punch lists that we are currently working through. We have a couple items on, about 300 items on paint, some items on electrical, and a few other items. We're actually working through addressing all of those now. We have had people coming through either before school, after school, on Saturdays, addressing all of these items, so we are working diligently through that. We did also have landscaper come by today. They got about 75% of the landscaping work to touch up everything again along Wolf Road. So that area is looking cleaned up now. There's some seed and blanket that's been installed. There's one small section that we will be working to complete. Probably tomorrow or next time we have a nice slowdown in the weather. It's very expected tomorrow. So we actually have painters out on site right now. They are working on working to close out those punch list items. We'll have workers, electricians, low voltage contractors been on Saturday just to finalize their punch list items as well. Apart from that, we received some. Apart from that, we have some railings that still need to go on the Riley entrance. Thank you. At the Riley entrance, so we'll go ahead and I believe we have about 3 weeks before we get those. We'll get those installed. And then the front entrance to Riley will be 100% complete. Some new roof letters are going to be forthcoming over at North Lake. A couple smaller changes that are forthcoming here. So, apart from that, like I mentioned, over the next couple weeks, we should be working on completing all of the punch list items and basically turning that space over to you all. So, we have a couple change orders to discuss. Any questions before we move on? Any questions? Perfect. So the first item that I have here is District Change Order 182. This is for $10,687. This was at the school's direction. There was a few items that we needed to address. The water heater at Riley needed to be repaired. We needed to repair that water heater so that we could get our full inspections complete before opening school. That was one item that was on here. We also found that the dilution tank in North Lake was full and the rocks needed to be replaced. So this is also included in there. And the very last item, we found that some of the storm sewer piping in Riley was clogged. So we had a rotting service come by and brought out those pipes. So again, cost there is $10,687 for that one. District Change Order 193. This was for $21,829. This was for an additional labor force requested by the school district to get all of the moving supplies, furniture, all of that good stuff back into the school so that we can get ready for school on time. So that was a labor force from our demolition contractor as well as from our cleaning labor force. So I think this was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday there. Laborers for those days before school. So again, cost there is $21,829. Excuse me. And then lastly, District Change Order 194. There was two public announcement modules that went missing over the summer, or were misplaced over the summer. So the cost there is to replace those two missing modules. The cost is $2,600. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. We have Jesslyn Kelly from Wool. Thanks.
This just as an aside from looking at that video, the playground surface and the grass look the same. They're not. Your playground is turf. You don't have to mow your playground. I just wanted to clarify that as you look at the video. But really exciting to see all of that kind of finalized and come along. So couple more months here, close out, but everything should be dwindling down from a change perspective. Wanted to go through, I have 3 different sets of change orders just for some of the outside contracts that you guys have. The first one being the Riley and Northlake, I'll start with what you have on the screen there. The furniture packages. So as part of an effort to coordinate kind of down to the last minute there, we were coordinating pretty closely with Gilbane on furniture delivery. So there were some things there that needed to be flexible and adjust as part of the furniture contract to make sure that contractors were able to complete their work. The first being a cancellation of a truck that was en route. Not something that we like to do, but something that was necessary to make sure that all the spaces were ready to receive furniture. So that cost shown is $3,680. The second piece, we kind of primed this last month, but overtime for a Saturday installation for furniture. So we could have gone the route of installing those pieces after school hours, but figured it would be best for everyone to see kind of the final finished product in terms of furniture on day one. So the additional labor of $8,400 was just for that Saturday. So the total change order for the Riley and Northlake furniture package was $12,080. In accounting wise, we're showing that coming out of the freight and delivery contingency, something to help with the coordination effort of this last minute push at the end of construction, but you still are also seeing your full construction contingency for furniture. And with $89,000 left in freight and delivery, we don't anticipate all that being spent with all furniture being installed at this point. So any questions on that change order in particular?
Question?
Awesome. So then I'll move to the Jefferson and Whittier primary school furniture packages for the majority of the summer. Unfortunately, the Whittier elevator was down, and so with that, we came towards the end of the summer and needed to add labor to stair carry the classroom and media center furniture up to the second floor, rather than waiting for the elevator. And that was just in an effort to make sure that we were out of the way at the beginning of August so that staff could have access to their spaces. So that total change is $5,760. Again, sitting really, really comfortably, only utilizing freight and delivery contingency, and all of your construction contingency remains for these 2 projects. Any questions on this change order?
Any question?
Awesome. Then the last one I have for you is for the AV package at Riley Northlake. As we were kind of closing out construction and the AV install, realized that the motorized screen was not included in the package, unintentionally not included in the package for the Northlake cafeteria. So you already had the projector, you already had the power, the screen was the piece missing. So this is to purchase and install that screen for $3,386. Again, looking at construction contingency, since this is your AV package specifically, you still have just over $86,000 left. And again, those are pretty close to wrapping up and closing out. There is still work happening on the AV side over at Riley Northlake, just because for safety of the equipment, it trails behind construction a little bit. So we don't anticipate much more coming out. Any questions on this?
No question? Well, you've done a great job.
Thanks. Keep it short and sweet tonight. Thanks, everyone.
Not have anything else for the new business.
Get a motion to acknowledge the facility. Ms. O'Connor. Roll call please.
Hightower.
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Espinosa. Aye. Motion carried.
As always, you guys are welcome to stay. We're around for your office. That's welcome. So we'd like to go to our regular board meeting. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Roll call please.
Espinosa.
Aye.
O'Connell.
I hear.
Moore. Here. Mason.
Present.
Hightower.
The first order of business is the public hearing and budget.
I shared a summary with the board comparing the FY 23 amended and FY 24 proposed budget. As I shared in the presentation of the tentative budget, there's a lot of information we don't have, and information was rolled forward. We do not have new salary rates, and there are several grants that are outstanding. We have not opened yet, and another large grant that we anticipate receiving. So I'll preface this by saying I do anticipate presenting an amended budget during the school year after negotiations are settled. And hopefully at that time, the grants will all be awarded and we'll have all of the information. So for the hearing, the budget for fiscal year 2024 represents an estimate of revenues and expenditures for Berkeley School District 87. For revenues, approximately 55% of all revenues received by the district comes from local money. Most of the local money comes from property tax. Other local money comes from cafeteria receipts, tuition, student fees, and interest earnings. About 32% of the district's revenue comes from the state of Illinois, the largest source being evidence-based funding, which generates approximately $16 million. The FY 24 allotment includes new Tier 2 funds of approximately $264,000. Compared to last year, our new funds for being Tier 1 was $526,000. So every year the state evaluates all of the districts and they assign the tier funding at that point, depending on your current financial status. Transportation is another funding source that is provided by the state, and we do not have the funding levels yet, so an estimate based on our claim has been included in the budget. The third source of revenue comes from federal grants and reimbursements such as Title I, Child Nutrition Program, ESSER. This year, the budget includes some ESSER 2 and 3 grant funds, mainly because most of the ESSER and ARP are being phased out. So they have to be spent out by either June of this year or encumbered and spent out by September 30th. So we'll be reapplying for any remaining ESSER funds. The federal source of funds accounts for approximately 13% of our total revenues and can only be spent on specific programs. Expenditures are divided into 4 major categories. Salaries and benefits account for about 33% of all district expenditures. As I stated, I'm using rolling forward last year's salary and benefits. Contracted services such as maintenance agreements for equipment, waste disposal services, audit preparation, student transportation expenses account for just over 16% of our expenditures. Some of our service agreements increased by the CPI, which helps us control annual increases. Supplies account for 4.2%, capital outlay 38%, and other expenses account for the balance of the total budgeted expenditures. Included in this category is textbooks, computers, milk, contest fees, floor wax, etc. This year, the capital outlay includes the remaining construction costs for the district capital improvement plan projects. Approximately 6% of the budget will pay for tuition to other educational agencies for special needs children. The largest expenditure in the transportation fund is the bus contract, which typically increases by consumer price index. This year, we negotiated a 1-year extension, which has a larger increase than CPI. We continue to monitor the bus routes and will increase or decrease if the number of routes is necessary. We are intentionally spending down some of the fund balance in the transportation fund. The Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund, it should receive enough operating money through the district's tax levy. Operations and maintenance fund include expenditures to address things such as the operating costs for the buildings, as well as higher insurance costs and building and equipment repairs, etc. The tentative budget for fiscal year 2024 has been on display since August 3rd, when the public notice for tonight's meeting was published in the local newspapers. The Board of Ed will have the opportunity to approve the budget for fiscal year 2024 later this evening. Once approved, the budget will be filed with the county clerk, and the State Board of Education is directed by law. In addition, we will file a copy with the Proviso Township School Treasurer's Office. We will continue to monitor the funds, all funds closely throughout the school year. And as we approach the end of the fiscal year, if any funds need additional revenues, we have the ability to transfer EBF funds from the Ed Fund to other funds most in need. I don't anticipate it, so I've not included any transfer of EBF funds in this proposal. But it is too early to determine that need. And I will continue to keep the board updated on our revenue collections. And again, we do anticipate preparing an amended budget following negotiations and appropriations and awards of additional grants. Are there any questions?
Any questions? They want to do it.
I'd like to close the hearing.
The motion. Roll and. Roll call, please.
Travis.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Warren.
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Motion carried.
We ask that the board accept the given correspondence as presented.
Okay. Ms. O'Connell and Ms. Boyd. Roll call, please.
Hightower.
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Travis.
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Spinoza.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Consideration of will business, we ask that the board approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of August 28th, 2023, and of the special board meeting of August 12th, 2023, as presented.
Okay, okay. Ms. Espinosa. And Ms. Boyd. Roll call, please.
Travis.
Aye.
Spinoza.
Aye.
O'Connell.
Aye.
Hightower.
Aye.
Mason. Warren.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And then for public comment, we have, I believe Mrs. Shapiro.
Yes, we have Mrs. Shapiro, and the topic of statement or question is kids' special needs, IEP, parents, teachers, education, cell phones, everyone, no matter their background. You have it.
3 minutes.
This is the right. So what I guess gonna say, so we believe, it's like I said, my idea is, the kids with special needs, you know, this, they have a kind of no hope, so we can isolate strategies to help them to to learn two different ways. I love how they use the summer programs. If they include those programs to the kids with special needs, they're gonna be great for them. So at least learning something for me, something in life, the games for them, for the IP. So I have a struggle with a better prepared with the meetings to school with a transfer. When we transfer the kids, it's like a parent's loss in some area, and it's like a missing communication. It's really a struggle for parents and teachers, and we are prepared more with that. So we avoid stress for the teachers and for the parents, for both of us. Because sometimes we says we blame someone, but it's not. It's just we need to educate ourselves. And this is a wonderful program. I find, and she is really good, and she's coming for free to teaching us about the IP. Her name is Maria Castillo, bilingual parent trainer for Resources Center on Disability, so she can keep in mind her. So she's really good and really advocated for both parents and teachers. So another one is the third one is how can make more simple for parents understand that homework when kids that have special needs, they are really distracted, or the parents we don't know how to. So it's like a more communication with the teachers about the if you guys can assist them with clubs for homework clubs. So that one is really helpful. Number 12, the cell phones in middle school, the kids even know how to use the phone. And also, they are not prepared for that yet. So why we allowed to have a cell phones in middle school? So, for avoid drama, bullying, and lost focus in education, pay attention instead of the texting, because we know they're kids and they know how to treat us. So we can put something like a lock, and you have a control, so they no signal at all, that they cannot do anything, right? So that way they have a cell phone, but they cannot use it at the school period. So there's less stressful for teachers. The teacher don't have to say, oh my goodness, I cannot be like a babysitter for them. No. So, and also, I really want to appreciate our teachers. How can we do better for appreciation of teachers? We need to appreciate them more. So we lost a lot of teachers. They're really wonderful, and we need to appreciate them more. The hard work, how parents can help the teachers. If they have idea, their children don't cooperate in the school, how the teachers and us, we have the same standards, so the children can know, period. They know we have this, we are together.
So Mrs. Chaparro, is my understanding that you're saying you want a homework club for children with IEPs?
Yes.
And
If for regular kids, they need help. I don't know, why not?
this is okay.
And also for our district is included people with color, Spanish and white. I saw it's confusing because they thought when they give the announcement it's bilingual, so they thought it's just for Spanish. It is not. We need to include them too. So because they're part of the district, we are just one, no matter what the background.
Mr. Chaparro, thank you so much for your statements and also the information that you're bringing and enlightenments on Miss Maria. I think we're gonna get that information from you. It's free. We will. I just wrote down Maria. I didn't get the last name, but we will get that from you. Thank you so much for your comments.
And Mrs. Chaparro, I'll follow up with you about your facilities questions too.
Okay,
And then
thank
we'll get the information about what we have.
Can we get, she shared her mom.
Well, I can try to get them in writing. I took notes from what Mr. Chaparro said. I have it.
Okay.
And I'll verify.
That would be,
Yeah.
I'm curious.
So normally what I do is I summarize it and then I follow up. We have
Okay. Say, there's a couple of points in here whatever it is.
But before I share that with the board, I'll double check with Mr. Shapiro, make sure I got it. Okay. But also before you walked in, she had some concerns about facilities, which I'm gonna follow up with. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Shapiro.
Thank you for your comments. And you will follow.
The next. Public comment is from Ms. Escobedo, and that's Maria and Mara. The statement of question is dual language request. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, I was here back in June asking for the same thing, and I spoke with Dr. Sullivan. And I emailed him, he gave me a lot of information as well as his Hannigan. But I give my work to a lot of parents. I have my letter, and I have a lot of signatures of parents who support the dual language program. So I really want you to please take into consideration to adding it. I know it's not going to happen like overnight, but it's a process. And I just want to let you know that there are a lot of parents, more than I thought, that really support this dual language. And the more I talk to parents, the more I know that there are a lot of parents that are interested. The signatures that I got, it's only from the time when I pick up my daughters from school and drop them off. There's a lot of parents that I didn't see them. For example, all the buses, all the ones that take the bus and the ones that drive, pick up the drive-through. And that's mostly from Whittier. I wanted to come to this side of the train tracks to get more signatures, but I understand that you guys have to go through a more reliable survey more than my signatures. But I just want to present it to you. And I know it is hard. I also learned that a parent a long time ago, back from 2015, she contacted me when she saw that I was collecting signatures. She said her daughter didn't qualify for the bilingual program, but I don't know how she managed, but she got her daughters into the program. But because of that, they removed the speech therapy that her daughter was taking, that was having some help, but because she got into the program, they took it off. I don't know why. So just please take into consideration.
What really is, we have a bilingual committee. It's chaired by Ms. Bond, and then turn over the signature to you.
Yep.
And we will get it back, because we have to get it back with her.
Yes, this is Escobedo, and I already talked. She knows the process we go through.
So you involved this one.
Yes, I spoke with Mrs. Vito in June as a follow-up to the meeting, and then Mrs. Hennigan, our director of EL services, has spoken to her several times this summer.
Yeah,
I met with her
yeah,
a couple times.
but I give my word to a lot of parents, so that's why I'm here. So just present that.
We really appreciate you guys spending time this evening.
Okay.
Present it, and
Can I ask a clarifying question? Are you looking for a dual language program or the whole school to be dual language from start to finish? Because I'm aware of Washington having it's a dual language academy, Washington something, right? And so that's like every single student is in that program. You're just and every single student in that school is dual language. Are you looking for the entire school to convert or just a program?
Well, what do you mean the Washington?
There's a school, it's Washington, I don't know, elementary academy. It's a dual, yeah, it's a dual language academy, which means that every single student from start to finish. And with that one, as I understand it, you can't, if you moved into the district, if you are not pre-K, you're not allowed to come in there anymore because you have to In
Oh,
order
from
to,
start.
yeah, it's from start to finish, and it's every single student. Which means that every single teacher has to be qualified, so that's why I'm trying to understand what your ask is.
Well, if it's just a program, if it's not a whole, like the whole thing.
Okay.
For me, as long as they get something. and
Gotcha.
I believe that will be a lot of help.
Okay.
The other one is pretty good too, but I don't know if you guys can do that. Or I was also mentioning, to Miss Hannigan, even if it's like a after school club, that the students can do something, something that I thought about it. And then only the really interested parents can join too, so just take it into consideration. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You involved with Susan as well.
Yes.
Now you brought it to
Yep.
you bring it to your team.
Absolutely.
I thank you, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Also forgot to mention probably, another parent, he doesn't know that she has more signatures, I don't know if it's the one. I don't have your email.
Well,
Okay.
if you can see that.
Okay, there we go. Okay, perfect.
I think you have my scale, but just give me my card and sign it. Okay.
Okay, the time is now 7:43 p.m. Let's continue.
So, in consideration of all business, we're on the books. No old business. Okay.
No business.
That's an old thing.
Yes, that the Board of Education approved the accounts and claims payable authorization as presented, and there were no questions. And.
Roll call please.
Travis. Espinosa. O'Connell. Hightower. Warren. Mason. Motion carried.
And the monthly building rental report is included in your packet for your review, and this is for informational purposes only.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Travis.
No whole business.
Yellow open. Okay, have a motion to go on the session. We're gonna be in here for a minute. So we'd like for everyone to. We could call back the meeting, later on, but August 2023. Okay. So we will close over. This meeting.
Hightower.
Thank you again for coming.
Warren. O'Connell. Espinosa. Travis. Motion carried.
Resign, so we'll go right into our next step. So we ask that the board accept the resignation of Mrs. O'Connell. In a motion. That's Rosa and Ms. O'Connell, please.
Hightower.
Aye.
Travis.
Aye.
Espinosa. Warren. Mason. Motion carried.
So we ask that the board appoints Ms. Sharice Walker as a Board of Education member to fulfill the term.
I was supposed to make that motion. So as a board member, I make the motion that we appoint Sharice Walker as board member to full term of Title.
Okay.
Again, motion is done.
All right. Walker. Been appointed to be board member. So we're gonna take this opportunity, if you have time, we're going to hand. Let's take the off.
Yes, Mrs. Walker, would you please stand? And you have the oath in front of you, and we will read it together. You for the sake of time. Yeah. Ready? I, Sharice Walker, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the member of the Board of Education of School District 87 in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, with the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the laws of the State of Illinois to the best of my ability. I further swear that I shall respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets. I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members and others who consider before me, while respecting the privacy of students and employees. I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual, that the decisions can be made only by the majority vote in a public board meeting. I shall abide by the majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels. As part of the Board of Education, I shall accept the responsibility for my role in the equitable and quality education of every student in school district 87. I shall foster with the board extensive participation of the community, formulate goals, define outcomes, and set the course of school district 87. I shall assist in establishing a structure and an environment designed to ensure all students have the opportunity to attain their maximum potential for sound organizational framework. I shall strive to ensure continuous assessment of student achievement in all conditions affecting the education of our children in compliance with state law. And I shall serve as education key advocate on behalf of students in our community schools to advance the vision of School District 87. I shall strive to work together with the district superintendent to lead School District 87 for fulfilling the vision the board has created, fostering excellence for every student in the area with academic skills, knowledge, citizenship, and professional development. Thank you, Mrs. Walker.
Congratulations, Ms. Walker.
That concludes the board member oath.
Thank you. Mason. Okay. Ms. Walker, and taking this position, you now inherit her. And so.
So, Ms. Walker, we have, each board member is assigned a committee, and we now have a vacancy for the PACE committee. And coaching to be co-chair with Mrs. Mason. He asked that the board approve the appointment of Mrs. Sharice Walker as the co-chair for the PACE committee.
I get a motion. Ms. Chavez, Ms. Espinosa. Roll call, please.
Espinosa. Mora. Aye. Mason. Hightower.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Ms. Mason, where is she going to that?
Yes.
Ms. Mason, she walk you through the process.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and did we call
Ms. Walker, did she get the vote?
Did she vote? Stop voting now.
Okay, now, all right.
Now you're voting. Okay. Is it voting? Okay, consideration of business.
Okay, are there any reports?
Okay, work, please. Go report. Report, okay. See there?
Or
Mrs. Nelson. We had a previous, facility meeting. Where the board meet, all the minutes are part of the package, so. Okay, superintendent.
Right. We ask that the board employ the following teacher effective October 2nd, 2023, pending all employment paperwork. Evelyn Nunez, second grade, Whittier.
Get motion. Small. And Mrs. Chavez. Roll call, please.
Hightower.
Aye.
Mason. Aye. Warren. Aye. Espinosa. Aye. Walker. Aye. Chavez.
Aye.
Motion carried.
We ask that the board approve the licensed personnel leave request as presented for Maria Hendricks, Sunil Modi, Jeffrey Spitzer, and Krista Ocampo.
Get motion. Ms. Espinosa and Ms. Mason. Roll call, please.
Hightower.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Walker. Aye. Espinosa. Aye. Warren. Aye. Mason. Aye. Motion carried.
We ask that the board accept the administrator and staff compensation reports as presented.
Make a motion. Ms. Mason and Ms. Moore. Roll call, please.
Hightower.
Aye.
Espinosa. Aye. Warren. Aye. Mason. Aye. Walker. Aye. Chavez.
Aye.
Motion carried.
We ask that the board employ the following personnel pending all employment paperwork. Julia Maguilel Sosa, teacher aide MacArthur, effective 9/27/23. Arturo Lopez, teacher aide bilingual MacArthur, effective 9/11/2023. Anthony Del Vescovo, custodian PM shift, Northlake, effective October 2nd, 2023. And Kara Tuzolino Zacharias, lunchroom monitor, Northlake, effective September 25th, 2023.
Get a motion. Ms. Mason and Ms. Espinosa. Roll call, please.
Warren. Aye. Mason. Aye. Walker. Aye. Espinosa. Aye. Hightower.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Motion carried.
We ask that the board approve the educational support staff leave of absence request as presented for Yesenia Villalobos Diaz.
Get a motion. Ms. Mason. Roll call, please.
Espinosa. Aye. Warren. Aye. Mason. Aye. Hightower.
Aye.
Walker. Aye. Chavez.
Aye.
Motion carried.
We ask that the board approve the fundraisers as presented for Riley Intermediate and Jefferson Sunnyside MacArthur PTO.
Motion. Mason and Ms. Espinosa. Roll call, please.
Chavez.
Aye.
Walker. Aye. Espinosa. Aye. Hightower.
Aye.
Mason. Aye. Warren. Aye. Motion carried.
And then just a couple of things for my board report. So the first item is that this is for informational purposes. Mr. Chairman, so you don't want to keep a copy. And then I talk with the best. Next month, I'd like to seek approval of the board for our work for the 2024 school year with the Catalyst for Educational Change. That's the team that's been working with us on our strategic planning process and some of our executive coaching. And so this is for informational purposes tonight. If you notice, we are also working with them on the EL audit. So if you go down into the middle where it says EL needs assessment, that happened to be a topic that's in our rotation. And some of our parents were here talking about that tonight. So that's in our pipeline of work. And as Mrs. Vince mentioned earlier, all of our grants are not completed yet. What I mean by that is they haven't all. And so we are looking to have as much of this funded by grants as possible. So we're hoping by the September board meeting, we will have more of that information available. This is the work we would like to do. So I'll be talking about it again next month, but I wanted to put it out there for the board to be able to review, and then we'll discuss it if there are any questions at the September board meeting. So this is planned to work for us.
Are you planning to engage those parents in this particular?
Yes, and one of the things, and I think you heard the parents talk about this, we actually have a process. There's a board policy on this. And what we want to do is we want to look at our entire program. So rather than start with, this is what we want to do, we want to look at what are the needs of the program. And I'll give you an example, as Miss Walker would remember, because she was part of this. We went over, do you remember, it was called the SWOT analysis, which meant strengths of the program, weaknesses of the program, opportunities for the program, and then what we call threats, things that are getting in the way. And it's supposed to be using data, but also, if you notice on that proposal, I think there are 15 different focus groups. So they identify all the different stakeholders. So it's not just one group saying, this is what I want. It's a comprehensive voice based on what we currently have, and then to see where our needs are. So that's the process that we go through when we do a program review. And so that's the process that we.
So you're mentioning we'd like to have this funded mostly through grants.
Yes.
You made the comment that, or smaller grants, you know.
Yes.
Is that being impacted by the grant decision that we have? Or is not?
No, one of the grants is the Title 138 grant, which we received the last several years. Our understanding is it's going to be funded.
Okay.
But it hasn't opened, and what I mean by that, we're not eligible to apply because it isn't out there to apply.
Okay.
But that actually is the grant, Mr. Chavez, we've used in the past to fund this work.
Okay.
So now we're having to think, okay, that doesn't fund, how can we do it? That's, we're still working on it. We want to have lots of options, because if one funding source isn't there, you need to be able to grab money. So that's what we want.
Okay.
All important work, we're going to fund it, but I'd like to get that out there.
Sure.
Okay, that's what that one is. EL audit, I talked about that. Oh, this is another thing. This will go very quick. Everybody likes good news, man. Mr. Chavez, you told me, give me some good news. So, I received an email the other day. Thought about sharing this through email with the board, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to read it. So, here's your copy of the email. I received this from one of our teachers. Dr. Sullivan, I meant to write this email last week, but as you well know, things are crazy at the beginning of the year. I just wanted to say thank you for the new second floor space at North Lake. You wouldn't believe how much use the breakout rooms get where the library used to be. Mr. Cheney uses them every day to run small groups during 4th, 6th, and 9th period. Last year, we had to have 2 small groups meeting in my room at the same time, while expecting the other students to read independently. With the new breakout rooms allowing Mr. Cherney to pull his group out, the noise level in the room is so much more conducive to engaged, independent reading. In addition to Mr. Cherney's use, I don't think I have walked out of my room without seeing at least one of the breakout rooms being used. I know there are parts of our construction that are still underway, and it can be frustrating, but I wanted you to know that our new second floor space is a home run. Thank you for providing us the environment in which to help our students progress in their learning. Hope you have a great rest of your week. David, that's from Mr. Larrick, who's one of our teachers. I just thought, let's keep this in mind, that we've gone through a lot, but people appreciate the work that this board has put in creating these facilities. So I thought that was a nice way to share that.
No, agreed. I think it's good to hear that. It's at the end of the day, that was to make it easier to educate.
And you know how it is, Mr. Chavez, people tell me things. They say things, and it's just nice to get something. Even though it says to me, that's to us as a board, our community. I wanted to mention that board appreciation will take place here on November 13th. And then also, I'm going to be sending you information, Mrs. Lizette, Mrs. Flores, and I will be doing it, that the joint annual conference is on November 17th to November 19th in Chicago. So Mrs. Mason has gone before. It's a series of workshops for board members. And I'm going to send information out about it. If you're interested in attending, it's at the Sheraton Hotel in downtown Chicago. And if you're interested, let Lizette know, and I will send information to everyone, we'll look for it just to see if you want to go. I plan on going, sometimes I stay at the hotel, it all depends. I think Mr. Mason, you've gone, and you found it helpful. I know you also had a lot of excitement.
What is this one, I'm sorry?
Yeah, what are those things?
November 17th, 18th, and 19th.
And what is this about here?
It's called the Joint Annual Conference. It's called the Triple I, that's what they call it, which is the Illinois Association of School Business Officials, the Illinois Association of School Boards, and the Illinois Association of School Administrators. They're all together. And board members from around the state attend. And I'm gonna go. I plan to go. You can. So, how about I'll send it out and then we'll talk. Okay, that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. How are we doing today?
Wonderful. I read just a couple of short things on our agenda to chat about. So we have been working with West 40 and the READ program, the D87 grant. I know that I didn't talk about it for social emotional learning and even the reading this class first. I'll give you an update.
Okay. Well,
So yeah, we got started with this in the spring. It is a partnership we have like said with West 40 and Reach. And we're in Oslo actually. So we have a wealth of resources that are fingertips for this. And again, it is fully grant funded and we will better. So West 40 is secured over grants for us to be that's always a big thing. But the most exciting part of it is that we have a very clear process of reviewing where we are as a district in regard to trauma informed. And that encompasses a lot more. When we think of trauma informed, we usually just think about it from like that child aspect. But there's also the adult aspect of trauma informed. There's the school safety that goes along with it. And there's just like a wealth of knowledge around it and resources. The challenge then is for us is where do we invest our time and how do we build that plan for years to come so that we can have all that wealth within our district. So we started out in the spring right before my leave. I wanted to make sure we could hit the ground running in the fall. And we did an analysis. We have quite great representation. I had to actually say no to a lot of people, which is always a good sign when people are really invested in the work that we're doing. The committee can only be so large. So we did begin the work in the spring. We did an analysis in our 2 areas. There were 8 domains total. There were 2 areas that kind of went to the top, and it's trauma-informed practices in the classroom and understanding the ACEs. And then the second area was around staff wellness, and most of that is really more about mental wellness. In our last meeting, we started building our action plans. We're starting from a large perspective of like an umbrella. Like, where do we get this work beginning? And then each of the schools is going to then do a little bit more work on what does this look like within our building. And that first area is going to be providing universal professional development this year in 3 areas. The first one will be wider serving practices and trauma-informed understanding. The classrooms will be doing that first training together on October 20th. So we're doing that in partnership with Daniel LaPointe, who is the person at West 40 Liberty. And then we built out 2 more trainings for the year. The next one will be on compassion fatigue, which is specifically related to adults. That includes any of us, right? We're doing this work where our responsibility is to have compassion for everyone else. But we have to think about how draining that is to each of us. And how do we keep ourselves from pouring from that? So that next one I think will be really good. It's going to hit right in February. I think that the hardest time in the school year really does hit. And then our last one will be de-escalation and understanding how to keep our students in those moments in a place where they can relate. So I'm looking forward to the work we have with that. I'll be taking, hopefully, I'll be taking the trainings that most are involved with, so they call it communities practice, where we get additional learning on my end, and hopefully be able to do those trainings myself, so that people can see a face of our district behind this work and continue moving it forward. And I look forward to what else we're going to continue to build out in our action plan. But it was really great conversation. It's been a very exciting work, and we have a lot of support behind it. Second piece is our specialization service pathways. So we have been working with CEC to look at our special education service pathways, looking at that, bringing clarity and coherence for our staff regarding student placement, their goals, and then the role of multi-tiered services and supports. I've been working with the task force on multi-tiered services and supports. Dr. Stadford's been working on the special education side of things, and really looking at what's that, making sure we have that alignment, that coherence. How do our special education educators and our special education educators all play a role in special education programming specifically, and then determining where do those goals align, and then who are the implementers of those goals, and making sure we have that alignment and coherence. And last week, we, Dr. Scott, we're all for doing it just a second, because a lot of training with our special educators. This past week, we spent some time presenting on what that means for our general educators across the district. And so we teamed together with principals, members of our special education staff, our psychologists, MTSS task force members, range committee, classroom teachers, teachers, specialists, and district office instruction team, and present that information jointly to our staff. And so we developed that presentation together and delivered it at all schools at the same time. So everyone, there was a coherence and consistent message given to all of our schools. Great.
Maybe connecting back to some of the data presented over the summer for our special education students. And we also know students that we're receiving now are the students that we were so fortunate to have in a blended school program that started in 2019. A lot of this was organic from working with those students that were included all the way from those early childhood years. And what do their pathways look like, and what do they need with the qualifying disability? Then all the supports that they got in those early years was different than maybe what we can kind of typically use to for seeing students, certainly in primary grades. So definitely shout out to our primary principals and our primary coordinators. They're the ones that have seen just finding this change. I think mostly from that level program. Being ready to adapt what our program needs. To serve all of our needs. Again, back to that multi-use.
We continuing to provide more staff with an organized that are the feedback off of pathways work that has happened, and so we'll be rolling that out to staff throughout the course of the school year. So we've got that complete system and that coherence. Years in progress work.
Thank you and your team for the update for keep the board informed and you support that. Ms. Vince, you're up.
The summary of budget, statement of position, with student activity reports for the period ending August 31, 2023 are provided for your review. And as part of the FY24 budget adoption, I want to incorporate the requirement of presenting the fund balances, which they were in your packet, of course, that was part of the hearing, but I am going to repurpose to start the meeting. So for these are all the beginning fund balances to start the fiscal year. The Ed Fund, $32,628,313. Operation Maintenance Fund, beginning fund balance of $4,260,325. Debt service, $2,413,282. Transportation, $1,781,992. Municipal Retirement Social Security Fund, $1,091,136. Capital projects, $20,254,189. working cash, $4,904,586. Toward $57,502, fire prevention and safety, $122,107. The suggested motion is that the Board of Education adopt a resolution for the adoption of the budget for fiscal year 2024 as presented.
Get a motion. Roll call please.
Nelson.
Aye.
Nora.
Aye.
Walker. Aye. Howard.
Aye.
Travis.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next couple action items were presented as part of the facilities committee. Suggested motion is the Board of Education approve change orders number 191 through 194 as presented.
Get a motion. Chavez and Ms. Espinosa. Roll call please.
Walker. Aye. Nelson. Aye. Nora. Aye. Travis.
Aye.
Howard.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And that the Board of Education approve the furniture for the Sunnyside MacArthur and Bradley North Lake projects, change order 7 is presented.
Get a motion. Walker and Ms. Walker. Roll call please.
Howard.
Aye.
Travis.
Aye.
Nora.
Aye.
Nelson. Aye. Walker. Aye. Motion carries.
That the Board of Education approve the furniture for the Jefferson Whittier project, change order 3 as presented.
Get a motion. Ms. Espinosa and Ms. Moore. Roll call please.
Travis.
Aye.
Walker. Aye. Nelson. Aye. Nora. Aye. Howard.
Aye.
Motion carries.
That the Board of Education approve AV project, change order 3 as presented.
Motion. Ms. Moore and Ms. Wall. Roll call please.
Nelson. Aye. Nora. Aye. Howard.
Aye.
Travis.
Aye.
Walker. Aye. Motion carries.
And that the Board of Education ratify the proposed settlement for the Vercanto property tax appeal for the 2019, 2020, and 2021 tax years as presented and discussed in closed session.
Get a motion. Ms. Chavez and Ms. Espinosa. Roll call please.
Walker. Aye. Nelson. Aye. Travis.
Aye.
Howard.
Aye.
Nora. Aye. Motion carries.
And as part of my oral report, I want to share with the board the ESSER grants that we talked about earlier this evening. We referred to them. So some of the ESSER grants require final closeout with expenditures by September 30th. So we have some invoices, pay applications that did not come in time for the board meeting. So as we've done with the board meetings that are early in the month, we'll run an extra board bills list to meet the September 30th deadline, and then the final approval will be incorporated, will be presented as part of the bills list in October for the board to do the final approval on it. But to meet the requirements of the grant, we will have to pay those items out. And I mentioned it earlier tonight, but for the evidence-based funding this year, after the state's review, we are in tier 2 for FY24, and the tier 2 funds for this year are $264,028. We received an update from SKIP on the renewal market for the renewal process, and the main areas are cyber coverage, property, and liability. And I shared previously that they anticipate increases. I think it was 10 to 15% for property, and they are seeing anywhere between 14 and 20% increases on property. So I have another SKIP executive meeting later in October, and hope to have some more updates for the board. And all of this is part of the renewal process that we, as the SKIP executive board, will present to the SKIP full membership, which is all of the member districts, for approval in December. And then corporate personal property, I have mentioned that we had heard that would be decreasing, and We did get information from the county and that is anticipated to decrease about 29%. It's still a significant amount of revenue that comes through Operation Maintenance Fund. So it's still a benefit. The increase is still benefit even taking 29% away. And then lastly, there is a Islam Finance seminar tomorrow on the tax levy filing process focused on Cook County. So I will be attending that workshop along with my redaction from the board.
Thank you. Is there updates? Any questions for anyone?
Yeah, is it the whole evidence-based funding that was going on for 4 years now? And I recall when it started, we had some larger amounts, based on the share. Is it possible to give a refresher? That means tiers.
Sure. So the tier funding, we did our regular aid for evidence-based funding. We get close to $16 million. And the tier funding, because we are a lower income district, trying to think of their the exact terminology, that's not exact terminology that they have, but each year they evaluate them to rank the district. And we started out in tier 1, so we may have gotten 300,000, 400 in the tier funding. Last year we got a little over 500,000 as a tier 1 district on top of the 15 million we received. That tier funding, it's extra funding 1 year, the next year it's part of your base. And when they reevaluated this year, we're a tier 2. So as a tier 2 district, our additional funds to help thank you.
Or I think they call it a percent of
Thank you. I was like, I was getting more than my mind. Thank you. I could see it. It was like right
Like
there.
the superintendent could help.
Thank you. So this year, our percent of adequacy is higher, so we are getting less funds. And for next year, they'll reevaluate it, and it depends where everybody ranks, and we might be tier 1 again. We were tier 1 several years. We went to tier 2 in FY22, FY23 we went back to tier 1, FY24 we're tier 2. So we still get that extra amount of funding.
That has given us the opportunity to have lower student classes.
Class sizes to provide additional support such as instructional coaches, bilingual literacy specialists, math and reading interventionists, support students. The programming or program. Targeted professional development.
Right. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Good update.
That is the end of my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Travis.
Update you on our vacancies. For our certified staff vacancies, we have 23 current vacancies. For support staff, we have 4 vacancies. And district-wide subs, 2. Recruiting efforts that we're trying to work on is attending some fall educator career fairs to try to catch those graduating in December. So right now we're scheduled to attend Illinois State Career Fair on October 31st. And so we're keeping our eye out for any other fall career fairs. We started, ISB released their mandated trainings list. Every year we're mandated to train on certain modules. And so at this time, I'm reviewing it to make sure that we capture all of the modules and new releases. And hopefully the staff will receive them in a couple of days. And then last but not least, we will be hosting a flu shot clinic on October 30th here in the boardroom. Generally, we have maybe about 40 people attend. So we'll be hosting that. Do you have any questions?
Things. What is kind of balances out, no increases, no decreases. Last month was at 24 and 23. And for sports staff, we got 4. Well, on our behalf, thank you for everything you're doing. I know we handicapped you. But you still making progress, I think.
We're trying.
I knew you.
Yeah, we are trying.
Right, Mr. Shabbat?
I don't think we had.
Okay.
I don't think we. Somebody else.
I do want to say we have what's helping. We do have some teacher assistants who are in programs. We partner with Dominican University that allow their teachers, some teacher candidates while they're working to become teachers to teach.
Okay.
But then we also had a teacher assistant who for a while have been pursuing her teacher license, and the state like waived this one. So now she has a teacher license, and she's going to move into one of these states. So that's helping us, and we have some more teacher assistants that in schools. So trying to build our own. We continue to do that.
With them.
Yeah, we can continue to do that. That's going to be helpful. And I don't know if we share it with you all last time. We have a few teachers who have joined us this year who are former students. So that's going to be awesome.
You did share that.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
It was great figures.
Right. Keep good work. Recognize. Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
What else?
That's it.
That's it. Okay. Ms. Byrne, you up?
Yeah, on that note, we had somebody join our team weeks ago that was a former student at Whittier and Norfolk School, which is awesome. Sebastian, he's doing a fantastic job. So working to get him caught up to speed and kind of integrated into what we're doing. As Jessalyn mentioned in her report, primary focus was getting the school safe and our students enrolled in starting school. Now there's the filing touches on access points and security cameras, and access control and projectors and so forth. So we're looking to get all that up and finished. And then just working to continue to get staffing going in the technology department. So we have a full team to do what we have to do.
Thank you for your hard work as well. All the buildings were really nice last week.
It's great. Thank you.
Good. Mr. White, you're up.
Just really the focus right now is trying punch list items, finding things that should be on the punch list items, finding what's theirs, what's ours, working with the campaign on finding out who we can address those items for school, after school, weekends, and just making sure everything's on the list and nothing gets forgotten.
You're not gonna pay him to fill those items are addressed.
I mean, I take it right, you know, if you get 300 items, and
That's the low point, yeah, it was much higher.
I mean, with the type of product,
Yeah,
yes,
it's
it's, yeah, it's a lot.
but we realize you don't talk about it. Yeah. We try to keep that.
$100 million project.
Yeah.
Not thanks much. Just make sure they don't, we catch it all and they're not gonna walk away and say, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, not ours. Otherwise we'll have a sinking building.
Well, thank you for all the hard work and the project really made a lot of good gains for the community. So the leadership is very important. So thank you.
You shot an email today. Shame. A teacher, you're right. Yeah. Based on.
Clearly, it was good.
Did you run around, right? So, right.
And Mrs. Flores put it in place. I saw Mr. Chavez handed out blue.
Yes.
And then green ribbon, so the blue represents Northlake Middle School and the green ribbon. And I'd like to thank Mrs. Flores for putting it together, and all the board members who attended the ribbon cutting. I thought it was really, really nice. And thank you everyone for all of your work and your patience as we went through this process.
Walker, I want to give you a big shout out. Thank you for what you do. And if you have a chance to look out, you'll be overseeing my. Arthur. Northlake.
I've not been Northlake, but I have a child that was at MacArthur, one that is at MacArthur, and one that was at MacArthur, and one that was at Sunnyside.
Okay. So you got to pick a trip from Northlake.
I will take it.
Beautiful. Okay. Okay, everybody want to go home? Making progress here. Any other new business? No. Now, the next board meeting will be October 23rd at 7 p.m. in this location. Okay, take a motion to motion. I knew it would be this motion. The roll call, please.
Aye. Warren. Aye. Walker. Aye. Hightower.
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Everyone have a safe.
I'll wait. No, we'll be here.
We'll recall. Have a safe. All right.